What is going on, guys? We're back with another rebuild on Madden 23, and today it is of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that had, at least for like fan consensus and named players drafted kind of consensus, one of the better drafts in the latest 2023 NFL draft. And they obviously address some needs, one of the biggest needs being tackle. This is a team that has had a bad offensive line for some time now, and this is taking a lot longer than it should to build up, a decent unit. It's decent, it's feasible, but it's still, far from great. But you have a couple of decent individual performers. Suamalo was a decent addition. Broderick Jones, I really like as a tackle, super athletic. And as far as offensive linemen go, kind of fun to watch. It's not the most. There's a couple of guys in the league that are kind of fun to watch as an offensive lineman, but there's really not many. But he adds, I think at least, to that tackle list of guys like Lane Johnson and Trent Williams and Broderick Jones. Now, as far as fun guys to watch on the offensive line, it's not the most glorious position to play. Wide receivers, Pickens, he's pretty good. Didn't play the full season, made crazy catches. That's kind of his thing. Deontay Johnson probably shouldn't be a superstar development trade player. He's still solid, but definitely not superstar. Allen Robinson, change of scenery, maybe the case. I don't know. I don't want to judge him because I don't know him, but it just seems like there's an attitude there. I don't know. But Calvin Austin in the slot, I didn't want to have, I guess Deontay could have played the slot, but didn't want Allen Robinson jumping into the number 2 role after last season. Najee Harris, fans might not like it, but that pick is really not looking great for them, especially when we're seeing a lot of these high second-round running backs killing it lately in the league. And, he's obviously was in the first round, was a late first in fairness, but not really the right pick then, and right now not really looking like the right pick. Kenny Pickett, speaking of, he was all right. You look at the stats, base stats, it looked terrible, but there's a lot of interceptions that weren't really his fault and a couple of heaves and whatnot, but he was solid enough. It's not easy to be a rookie quarterback in the NFL, just be thrust in the position and just be like, oh, well, I'm a god. It's it doesn't really happen. The team in general, though, definitely played better near the end of the season, so there's that. How do you want to play that? Obviously, Darnell Washington was an interesting pick because he fell a lot further than everyone thought. Apparently, there's injury concerns and knee concerns. More of a blocker anyways, so I guess, you come in the rundowns, and, he obviously can, stretch the field with his athleticism for his size, but not really the most polished receiver, but that's why you have Pat Freiermuth, who, had a really good year last year. Looking at the defensive side of things, this is where you get the heavy hitters, if you will. I feel like people have been disrespecting Patrick Peterson. I felt like he had a pretty good year last year. I felt like he was very clutch. I feel like there was a lot of plays or a lot of situations where he closed out a game with an interception or a clutch knockdown. Cameron Hayward's obviously amazing. TJ Watt's obviously amazing. Minka's obviously amazing. Highsmith doesn't get enough credit. Can't say too much about Miles Jack here. Cole Holcomb's the new addition. Don't hate that, obviously. Joey Porter Jr., love the story for the family ties. A lot of family stuff with the Steelers. You have Hayward and Watt, Herbig and Nate Herbig on the offensive line. Nick Herbig and Nate Herbig. Obviously, the Watt situation. Derek Watt's not here anymore, is he? Is he? I think Connor Hayward, family stuff, is the fullback now. Benton, really good run stopper. He's slowly developing as a pass rusher. Fits right in there as a starter, most likely, at least for us, for sure. Could use a strong safety. There's not really a whole lot to upgrade on this team. It's really question mark is that quarterback spot. A few of the offensive lineman positions, but QB is really the question. Can we make it happen? I don't know. Trice, obviously another guy that, a lot of fans, every fan was like, bring him on, my favorite team. We could use him. And then it's the Steelers that take him. But obviously they got some depth. They got some starters that they needed. This is a pretty solid-looking team. And they obviously had a really good draft. So a team that almost always seems to be in contention, maybe doing enough to get back to it. Also, we had a mentor rookie. I'm not sure what's going to happen here because Darnell Washington's already star. Okay, superstar development trade backup tight end. Nice. Got ourselves the best tight end duo in the league, I would imagine. So I don't know what the hell this is going to do for us, because isn't he like a dinosaur? No, he's pretty old. Yep, 27, like me in real life. Old as hell. Super old. Oldest man alive. Although in real life, he's actually probably older than me, because, you know, the whole year. I've never seen someone this old and this bad of a dev get overall, get a dev up. Like, it's kind of crazy. It doesn't change anything, in my opinion, but it is still something. It's something. Yes! Keanu Benton! Star development trade. How much? 20k XP is surprising for his age. Usually they kind of have to be like bum sandwich to be that bad, but or to get that much XP, but I don't know if I want to actually make him a power rusher, because I kind of want him to be a block shedder, but I think at the same time, he's not going to get much block shedding because of the scheme, or the highest, like, attribute. Oh, nice. He got a +1 to run stopper, so it means I could go all the way to power rusher, which means he is at 77 power rusher, probably finishes, like, 90 block shed or something. That's okay. You can use that. It's all right. It's feasible. Kind of. Oh, of course, here, though, +1 to speak, and our Steelers series can't do it. I mean, what Steelers series? That's dead. Unless you leave a like and subscribe. That might not change anything. You're like, I don't really care. Miles Jack, I mean, he is superstar development trade. Another guy that probably doesn't deserve a superstar still, but I don't know. Even at week 15, do I really want to pay him a 4-year 33 when we're broke and we have to pay some other players like Highsmith soon? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think we should just draft a linebacker or something like that, because that's a lot of money for a guy that's, well, his ceiling's kind of reached, and more importantly, he's just not really that great. Yeah, I think we do better. Also wearing 23. Wow. All right, not quite the season we were expecting or wanting, and of course we win at the end. 6-11. I wonder what that win did for us at the end. Like, I actually am very curious to see how hard that screwed us. I mean, that could have been the difference between pick 2 and what appears to be pick 5. At worst, 6. Yikes. Really bad start of the season. Kind of turned it around a little bit. Didn't change the scheme since week 5. I think it was maybe week 6. It was really bad, so I went with the Chiefs playbook, and that seemed not to help. As you can see here, we were, I mean, maybe a little better, but overall just pretty bad anyways, which is a little surprising. I know our quarterback situation's iffy, and we got a couple of lower overalls on offense, but this is a team that I thought would have been a lot better than that. Kind of wasn't. Kenny Pickett, a lot of interceptions. Touchdowns are at least better, so are yards, but it's still a really bad season. Najee Harris, it's a really good season for him. Pickens, really good. Deontay, not bad. Freiermuth, really good. And then Calvin Austin really didn't get involved that much as the number 3. O-line, Broderick Jones had himself an awful year. An awful year. TJ Watt with 16.5 sacks. Hayward with 9.5. Highsmith at 8.5. And then nothing really to show for afterwards. Interceptions pretty tame. Tackles for a loss. 11 for Benton, which I would have thought would have been better than that. Boswell, perfect kicking. Man was not bad. Kick return, punt return game, basically non-existent. 31st in offensive yardage. You can kind of see why we didn't make the playoffs or really even come close at all. Yikes. Any award wins? Nice. I mean, that's kind of undeserved because he's not really a rookie, but we'll take it. TJ Watt, best linebacker as well. My idea is you've got to compete with players in other rebuilds where, let's say, you have a rookie quarterback from the real class, you know, like a Bryce Young or something rebuild, and you have to compete with them. I think if you get it when you're not supposed to get it, you should be able to keep it as well. So, you know, the good and the bad. That's all I can say. The Colts in the Super Bowl and the Niners finally getting over the hump. And the winner of this one's the Niners by a lot. Wow. I actually wonder, because of those touchdowns, if Pickens is maybe even an X factor. He is not. He's a superstar, though, which is amazing. Pickett did not go up in dev. Bit of an L. Honestly, bit of an L. And then looking at the defensive side of things, Miles Jack, of course, even though I'm not keeping him, is an X factor. Holcomb is normal dev still, which is a huge L. And no one else went up in dev, with Patrick Peterson dropping. Well, no, Benton was already star because of the breakout. I actually forgot. So Miles Jack was the only guy on defense to go up in dev, and he's the only guy that won't be here next season. Oh, my God. Every time, dude. Every time. Oh, my Lord. That's such an L for us to, like, lose him, but, I mean, I don't know if I should pay him, especially considering, you know, we're paying him after the fact, so it's going to cost even more. I don't think it's worth it. I also feel like this is where you would maybe draft a quarterback, right? 6 and 11, top 5 pick. If there's a good quarterback there, maybe you would go for one. How much is Miles Jack? He's still asking for about the same, and his overall is higher than when we first discussed it. I mean, I thought that was fair. What's the tag? Wait, only 8.96? Well, welcome back, buddy. That is low. How is it so cheap? Or did it say 18.9 and I'm blind? No, it was 8. It was 8. Take a look at a free agency. Obviously, we need a few different things. Corner wouldn't hurt, as Patrick Peterson may even have retired out of the check. But yeah, pretty tame free agency group right now. Kind of as expected, in fairness, but still a yikes. We end up getting Taylor Rapp on a 4-year, $22.8 million deal. He's also very lacking of athletic abilities. Very similar to Neal, despite the fact that he is not as big of a thumper. But I figured if he can start, Rapp, who has a higher ceiling, also can. And as far as Steele goes, I don't really want to offer more because I'm not even fully interested in him. I want him, but at the same time, this team is not in the best shape financially, so I can't really spend too much on players any more than that, which is kind of what I offered them, or offered him, is a little outside of the realistic price range for us, even though he's totally worth it. I think we could just draft a lineman. I mean, we really don't have many needs, right? Like, we'd have quarterback probably, middle linebacker for the future, corner, and then obviously just offensive line. So that's basically that. I suppose there's not really much more to it but to get to the draft. Kenny Pickett, 25 years old now, did not play well, lost 2 throw power. Please, EA, remove this. Normally, I wouldn't fix players, in these rebuilds, but 2 throw power, that is way too much to lose for a guy that already doesn't have throw power. Where does that make sense? If you want to say that their awareness or their accuracy dropped or something because they didn't have a good season, sure, but what, their throw power just goes down randomly? How does that make any sense? They're still young. It's so stupid. All right, here we are in the draft. There are a few quarterbacks. There is one particularly that looks the best, but I don't know if that's going to be my guy or not, because he's probably going to be gone. I think I'd still take O'Neal, but obviously, as you can see here, Bates is clearly the best remaining. Erickson is up there, and then Hogan has really good arm strength with his elite throw power. So there's 4 options where 3 of them are realistic, and only one, maybe both, maybe O'Neal as well would be worth taking at 5. Hopefully pick 1 isn't a quarterback. Problem is pick 2, 3, and 4 all could be. So yeah, I don't feel great about us getting a quarterback. There's O'Neal. Let's... There's no chance. This is like the worst. We should have traded up to pick 1. That was the only chance we would have had at that quarterback. But that is a lot. To hop from 5 to 1 would cost a ton. Geno, highly doubt they're going to stick with him. And then Kirk Cousins, maybe, but I think that it won't matter because he's going to be gone right here. Here's Bates. No Bates, please. They didn't take him. Neither team took the quarterback. I mean, those guys are good veterans, but okay, Sam Bates is going to be ours. 6'2", 233, 21 years old, top 5 projection with an ABAA key rating, great throw power, pretty athletic, considering how good of an accuracy quarterback he is. Sam Bates is going to be the choice if he's normal and be sad. He's not. That's a win, and I'm sorry, but that's starter. That's starter. Pick 5 overall. Better in like every conceivable way than Pickett. Yeah, I'm sure the Steelers fans are going to be mad at me, but this is Madden after all. And there are a bunch of 1 to 2 corners. I'm just kind of hoping one of them maybe falls. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I just didn't feel good about trading up considering we have a few needs. And there's a lot of really good players there that aren't, just corners. And, we got a couple of corners still here. Joey Brown, Devontae Peele, and Vernon. We've heard of, I swear I've seen this Vernon guy multiple times. 6'4", hard to pass on, let me tell you. You also have a free safety. If he wasn't 5'9", I'd maybe think about taking him because he has an A-man coverage and he's pretty athletic, but 5'9", it's not really a boundary corner, is it? You have a super speedy wide receiver, a solid tackle that could probably play right tackle, but I also think I could get Palmer as like a lineman. I don't know which position. I really need a tackle, though. Man, there is a lot. I scouted Lafferty even more. He had a bunch of A to C's, and it switched to B to C for power move. I still don't know how good he is. Oh, my Lord, that is some challenge. What do? I feel like if I'm going to take a player here, I honestly should just trade down. I'm going to trade down like 10 spots and just take best available, I think. The Colts are going to give me 44 and 127 for this spot, which isn't great, but unless I get so unlucky, we should still have somebody there. They take a free safety. It's not even the good one. All right, Basley, the speedster. That's pretty unfair because the Cowboys are already a pretty good wide receiver team. No way at 12, like, all of those guys are still there. Bro, they're all still here. Do I take Donnell Manning? I would hate to take him and him not be hidden, but he does look really solid. D pass block power and fairness, but he's got those pretty solid base ratings. I'm going to take him, Donnell Manning. Yes. It's a pretty high pick for a lineman. That's a very high pick for a lineman. Works out. We can maybe use one more lineman, but I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy just sitting where I'm at. And as far as corner goes, I think we're going to trade up for kind of like the last remaining guy. Those 6'4" corners usually do sit quite a bit, as we can see right now. There's one corner, and there's two. I think the last corner actually is the 6'4" one. He's 1 to 2, 6'4". That is going to be our guy. I'm just going to make sure there's not anyone else. Want Palmer, so if I can keep pick 5 in the third, I don't know how the hell I would do that. That would be great. We also have Chris Hooks, who looks good, but don't technically need him in a linebacker just yet, so I'm not super crazy on him. But we need to get this 6'4" corner. And if he's hit in development trade, that's our cornerback set for the future. It's not the best trade, but they are getting a lot of quantity. So we're going to trade 101 this, 127 this, and a third next for 55, which, once again, you could argue probably isn't super fair for them. But, if they absolutely want to trade out, get extra picks, which a team that's, competing like them may do, because, if they're competing like that, they're probably not in the best cap space situation, and teams like that might not have the best depth, so the more 4th round, 5th round picks you can get, the better it is off for the team. With this trade, I think we have to take the cornerback, Teddy Vernon, 6'4", 21 years old, very raw, but also insanely athletic. This is the closest you're going to get to Tariq Woolen in game, without a doubt, and he is hidden. 95 change of direction at 6'4" is absurd. The speed, the excel, that's probably the pick of the draft. Just for like literally every team, not even just us. And I really like this Denario Palmer guard, but do I actually need him? 40 bench press reps. He's the most. I think I should just take him. I'm going to take him. He's not the size we're looking for, but he looks amazing. Hidden development trait. Let's go. Little shocked by that, because a lot of the high strength, clear-cut home run hits have been normal for me on that position, the offensive lineman spot. But, instead of trading down and all this, doing this fancy stuff, I was like, you know what? Let's just grab a talent, right? Let's just grab the damn talent. We have a linebacker. I also do have this Harrington guy. We have seen a lot of these types of, not great speed, but amazing excel and agility guys be really good. I think I have no choice but to take him, because we've seen so many of these. We've missed out on them. Let's not be dumb. And, of course, he's normal, but hopefully he's one of those types. I don't know. But in the 5th round, you can't really go wrong. And I think I will actually trade up with the Seahawks and basically call it a draft after that. Kendrick Green for 131. I think that's pretty fair. 73 overall, 24-year-old lineman. It's pretty fair. Maybe should have added that 6th-round pick. It is what it is. It's close enough. And with that, it is going to be the linebacker that we take, Mr. Deontay Fowler, 5'11", 21 years old, obviously raw but super athletic. Normal development trade, a couple of normals, but, if they're even close to 70 overall, it's a win. We take a fast wide receiver in the 6th round, 94 speed, 94 excel. He wasn't that fast, but he was definitely going to be fast enough. That's fast enough in my book. And then, even though we don't technically need a punter, our punter situation is kind of odd, because it's like, Harvin's not really good enough to be the starter. Mann is good, but he's going to need a contract, I imagine. I think. Either way, Corey Barnett with the B accuracy, the elite kick power is worth it, in my opinion. Normal dev with that kick power, totally worth it. And technically, Braden Mann's not even supposed to be here, so I probably will release him. He had a pretty good punt season, but after that punter, I don't really need him. 76 overall for the quarterback, 73 for the tackle, 75 for the corner, 72, 74, 70, 69, 73. So Let's take a look at this wide receiver. I want to see if he's like one of those great short route guys. So yeah, he's not as good as the guys we've seen. He's another one of those strange builds, but not quite the good strange build. So I guess those guys aren't guaranteed, even if they do look similar to one another. Bates, a little bit higher in the throw power, and this is literally Andrew Luck. So we absolutely take an Andrew Luck without a doubt. There's obviously some other differences, but development trait, only star, of course. He was the guy I wanted the most out of them all. So no matter what happens, no matter what devs the other guys are, he was going to be my choice every day of the week if I had the choice. I do want to see McNeil, though, because he's one of those guys that doesn't look as good, and he's probably the guy with Deb that usually happens. Dev, speaking of, it's still all right, though. We got a star right tackle. Verndon, the big man. Probably going to be raw, right? Yeah, zone coverage isn't great, but he is pretty good in man and super athletic. Let's take a look at what his dev is. These guys are almost always star, and that continues to be the truth. As far as Palmer goes, where the hell would he play? I guess one of the guard spots in the future, maybe left guard. Suomalo won't get a second contract with us, whereas Dotson might. So I guess we'll just keep him at left guard. What's that dev? Star development trade as well. Still a really good player, though. Anything else? Fowler was 70 overall, even though he was normal. Still, 21 years old, maybe. Maybe he's got a chance. I don't know. Very raw, so probably not, but maybe. Hidden development trait quarterback for the Buccaneers, Mr. Terry O'Neill. Super good throwing short. Kind of similar to our guy. Not, any differences between the two that are massive. Besides Dev, sadly. So I guess they technically made the right call. Was there anyone else that I was thinking of grabbing? I don't really think so. Now, don't get me wrong, Haynes is decent, but 89 speed, considering what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be like 91, 92 speed with like 88 excel. Glad we passed on him. Star development trait. There's some other players like the quarterback and other corners, but I don't really care that much, so we will move on. Wanted to get someone on the interior for the defensive line, but there just wasn't really a guy that made sense. I kind of thought Lafferty was going to be the direction I would go, but I just didn't have any information on him because at 90%, they still wouldn't tell me what his power move was. All right, here we go for the Season 2 team. This is an improvement, especially at that quarterback spot. Obviously, Palmer has a higher ceiling than Suomalo, but they also did pay him quite a bit, and he is the higher overall now. What did I say about Palmer? Was he higher overall? He's the higher potential guy, obviously. Got ourselves a new right tackle who hopefully plays better than Moore because he was awful. Not as bad as Broderick Jones, though. And receiving threats, solid. 2 superstar development trait players. Najee, a running back, had a pretty good year. Pickett was not very good with all those interceptions. Bates hopefully does better as he is a super primed, ready-to-go quarterback like right now. Younger, higher overall, better dev, everything. Corners, lower overalls, but definitely more potential for sure. Safety, similar situation, but higher overall, just slow as hell, but higher potential as well. Linebacker, Miles Jack, we'll see what happens next season, but this is a pretty good team that, once again, probably should have made the playoffs last year, didn't. Caused us to get a new quarterback and made all the Steelers fans hate me for replacing Kenny Pickett already. Oh, look at that. +3 under pressure. My man. Bro, he's busted. Another quarterback breakout thing, or not breakout, check-in. It was the rookie one first, and then QB check-in. 4 to medium and deep accuracy. Definitely having a better season. $69 million. Miles Jack maybe gets a contract. Probably not, though. Highsmith, we'll see. Dotson probably at that price, and everyone else is probably gone. So we shall see Mr. Highsmith, how well he's playing. Because obviously last season wasn't great, but was good enough to probably get this contract, and he's on par for that, maybe a little better this season. So he'll get the contract. We have our edge sorted. A 4-year 60, that's got to go. Nice. Not bad, actually. 55 mil left to spend. Dotson, I'm going to only do it. Should I only do it? Let me look at his ratings, actually. I don't know if I want to do a 2-year because he might actually be worth getting the 4-year deal or so. He is not the best run blocker. It's pretty good overall. I think I'll give a 4-year 32? That's not bad. Yeah, whatever. 48 mil left, and not really many players to sign, right? Actually, none. We're literally done. We don't need to sign anyone, technically, unless you want to keep Miles Jack, which I'm kind of iffy on. All right, paid him a 4-year 48. Hopefully it's worth it. I mean, he's actually a pretty good overall with that dev as well. Makes him, I mean, a safe-ish bet, right? So I suppose we'll keep him. What a decision. All right, so a better season than last year, but even if we win, I don't know if we're in. We'll find out, and we lost. So, yeah, definitely not in with the loss. Freaking 8-9. I guess it's still okay because we get a decent draft pick to maybe draft a defensive lineman. But overall, this is the team we're kind of with. You know, we're kind of stuck with this team. Pretty damn good start. I think we're like 6-4 at one point. Finished 8-9. Not the proudest stuff, but hey, better season. Hopefully, better ingredients, Papa John. But hopefully, the quarterback was a lot better than Pickett because otherwise we're going to look like idiots. Oh, no. Still better, but not by much. Might need another scheme change. Pickens is pretty good. Freiermuth good once again. Receivers. I mean, it's just like it's a scheme that sucks for offense somehow, even though it's the Chiefs. Really good blocking for once. TJ Watt. Highsmith. Could be a superstar. Benton, great season. Not bad. Interceptions, 4 of them for Peterson. Could have some dev ups for these key defenders. And Boswell. Back-to-back years. Not missing a kick. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a rebuild. Like, it's so hit or miss with that position that usually always see a couple of misses here or there, even for the best kickers. Boswell, probably back-to-back Kicker of the Year award. Undefeated, that man is. He's a perfect kicker. Packers versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It only took Rodgers leaving Green Bay for that to happen, and the Packers win 24-3 against the undefeated Chiefs. They were 17-0. And they lost in the Super Bowl. If they would have won that Super Bowl, they would have been considered the greatest franchise of all time. Like, simply put, like all the Super Bowl success lately and the undefeated season all the way through. Instead, they don't get it. Wow, that was pretty unfortunate for them. But let's take a look at the DevOps. Bates obviously went up in dev. No one else did. And then defensively, nice. Highsmith went up in dev and Holcomb. Probably doesn't matter too much for Holcomb. He's 28 now, but still, it's something. It's something. Highsmith, obviously huge, especially since we just paid him. All right, apparently we have 91 mil. Obviously not having like a super expensive quarterback helps, but I suppose the two quarterbacks combined probably 15, 20 mil per at least. But yeah, I mean, I actually kind of want to keep Patrick Peterson, especially since we're losing like all of the depth corners. So if I can keep Patrick Peterson, even though he's not interested, Levi Wallace actually makes so much more sense. All right, Levi Wallace, 1 year 6. Sorry, Patrick Peterson, but it's Wallace time. Neal was a pretty good backup, but I don't know. It didn't really help us win games, did it, having him there? Let's go to free agency and maybe use that money to make a nice push here in year 3 rather than waiting for freaking year 4 or 5, which is usually what we do. But free agency just been really bad lately in these rebuilds. Just haven't seen much talent, which I like because, I mean, teams should be keeping their talented players, but guard kind of wouldn't hurt, but I think, honestly, offensive line is set. Wide receivers, I think, are set. I think, honestly, the offense is just set. It really is. So inside linebacker wouldn't hurt, especially just to replace Holcomb. No, we need multiple DNs. Hayward retired on us. Oh, that sucks. All right, so we need 2 defensive ends. Be nice to see one of the big names in there. And I guess let's find out. Let's see if there's anyone there. Our team is actually pretty good. Once again, the Steelers aren't that hard of a team to rebuild. Nick Bosa, just not going to happen. Eckler probably could, but not gonna bet on that. Daniil Hunter, not really what we need. Ed Oliver is more of a name than he is a talent at this rate. But let's see how good he is. Maybe he had like camp breakouts or something. Camp stand. Yeah, I mean 85 block shed. I mean, I guess. Right, we lost Hayward. This is like the best replacement we can go for. It's been a while since we've had Ed Oliver, so if he wants to join, I'm down, I suppose. We ended up getting Ed Oliver, but no one else has signed. Hopefully Love joins. No Love yet. You knew Love wasn't going to join, considering the fact that like our offer didn't change, and you know the whole time he just kept going and going, and then he still just didn't join. I wanted Eckler, but I just don't think it's a smart idea because it's like, why would he join us on like a 2-year 16.8, especially after underperforming? But at the same time, like nobody wants him. I think he's just way too dynamic to ever join us on something like that. Najee Harris needs a contract. I suppose the answer to that fifth-year option is no. In real life, it probably would be yes, because, running backs you usually don't want to give the actual long-term contract to, but we do because it's Madden, and he's going to be our running back of the future. All right, so we have pick 14, which feels like cheating with a team as good as us, but that's the one we got. There's a lot of different guys that I like here. Morris is probably the number one. Felton's all right, and then Choice is probably the number 2, even though he's a little bit on the smaller side, but 6'5", 280. I believe he had pretty good bench press reps. Yeah, 33 is good enough. That's probably like 87 strength, I'd like to think. So realistically, I think the best move would be to do the classic trade in weight. The problem is, if Morris is early, who I do like, it's kind of an L because I don't really want Felton as much as Choice anyways. So, I guess Felton's not bad either. I'd probably be fine with just either one. So, even though I think Choice is the best, there's going to be a good chance that we're going to end up with Felton, aren't we? This is going to be so stupid. But everyone else is like 2 to 3. So, I'm going to trade down, try to get an extra second-round pick, even if it's bad, and which we need because we have no third-round pick. And take best available DT. That's a pretty good trade. 26, 58, and 88. Of course, 88's next year, but the Colts have given me a trade. I think the Eagles had a pretty good trade too, but I think that's a little unrealistic to get a full first-round pick for 14, unless the Eagles are trying to trade up for a quarterback, which would make no sense because I extended Jalen Hurts for them, so not going to get away with that one. Pick 26, let's see who's there. I probably should have checked because they're all 1 to 2s. They're all still there. I guess we trade down again because I was going to go with Morris, but he does have a D tackle, which is, it's ironic, D tackle. But yeah, that's a little iffy. Let's go to the Bears, 34 and 67, and let's, I guess, keep going until one of them's, remaining. There's no way, right? There's not going to all be there. They're 1 to 2s. Really? Nobody needs a DT. Okay. I guess with all the trade downs we've made, we could probably grab multiple if the guy's not right. So, with that being, that situation, George Choice is going to be my George Choice. Hidden development trait and 88 strength. Very good player. Super athletic. Could play edge if he needed to. He's kind of baller, dude. Our front is set. It really is. Moyer might be halfway decent with his A zone cover. He's very athletic, but I have a lot of athletic guys. He's interesting, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the choice for us. Hartwell, Christmas, got a bunch of different players. Parker's interesting, but that's that F. Honestly, I didn't get to scout Sherman more because we ran out of players to do the focus scouting on. He was another interesting guy because, that's pretty much the best athleticism you're going to get from a safety, and he has it right there. I honestly think we can trade down to the third. There's going to be a mad trade down one, and I do trade down a lot. I know, I admit it, but it's just the projection's there. I know when they're going to go pretty much. I don't need to take them this high if they're a 3 to 4. Philadelphia does not want that first-round pick, I swear. Not realistic in my opinion, so we are going to trade with the Niners for their second and third next year. Don't really need much for this season and bolster up that capital for next. We did a pretty damn good job in this one, in my opinion. I think we did a very good job. Seattle's going to give us 68. We're going to gain another draft pick for next year, a 4th-round pick this time. Let's move on to 3 and probably start selecting. If I was actually in charge of everyone's favorite teams and I was the front office, the manager, everyone would hate me. There's nothing worse in my opinion. I scouted him more just to check. He's actually busted. Rudy Wilkins is busted. Welcome to the team, Rudy Wilkins. Normal development trait, but 97 speed, 93 excel for a 3rd rounder with those key ratings. I had really no choice. But yeah, could you imagine seeing, you're oh, we're perfect position, we can grab a trade down? Again and again and again. It's really? We don't really need linebacker just yet, but Khalil Christmas, I think, is him. 6'1", 227, very athletic. Key ratings look pretty good. Khalil Christmas, another normal dev. Very athletic, though, like we said. 85 jumping for a CPU-generated linebacker. That's wild. Using one of the 2 4th-round picks we have next year with our 4th-round pick this year, we move up to 82 to take the center Martinez. I don't really know if I have many more players outside of that. I don't really need a safety that bad, but that safety is pretty decent. So we'll see. If he's there at the 5th, I might grab him. But Martinez is definitely the guy. A couple of A's in between some A to C's. Should be decent. And finally, back to the hit-ins. Really strong center, of course. 91 strength for a center is kind of absurd. We do this trade. We end up trading a 5th, 6th, and 7th this year for a 5th this, 6th next from the Jets. Kind of a way of moving up, but also moving to next year, adding more talent there. So, not a whole lot there. They got kind of a lot for only moving back 13 spots. But our safety, Ware, who's actually pretty athletic, was there. I'd imagine he's going to be raw as hell, but good backup, 4-year guy, 90 speed, 91 excel. I mean, it's fair. Fine. Hopefully he's like a 67, 68 overall. That'd be a win. And then here, Hayward might need a contract soon. I probably keep him on. Oh, I can't keep him on. I was about to say for his brother, but Cameron's gone, so I don't know. We'll see what Connor's like, but kind of want to grab a fullback now if there's someone decent here, which I would imagine there's usually at least one good fullback. Watson looks the best for sure. So Mr. Addison Watson looks actually really solid. What is that, athleticism? Not super athletic, but Addison Watson, 80 strength. I mean, those A's look insane, but obviously those key ratings, they compare to the rest of the class. So you could have a bunch of A's, but everyone's like in the 60s, so you're like 65, basically. But let's take a look at the draft class, which, of course, added draft depth for next season on top of being a good one this season. 76 for our new starting defensive end, 76 for our new slot wide receiver. Christmas, did not come early, sadly. Maybe he did come early. It was maybe too early of a pick. Good zone coverage, but block shed's iffy. Very athletic. He'll be our new middle linebacker, although could develop him as a pass rusher with all those traits. So strange. Martinez, 73 overall, which is interesting enough. He's actually one of the most, kind of well-rounded rookies I've ever seen in this round. I mean, that is a late-round guy. You usually don't get that from even, the first-rounders. Pretty impressive. Don't really need a center, but I guess if James Daniels needs a contract, that's a position we can forego now. Addison Watson, I am kind of curious to see what his ratings are because he did look super beast. 70 run block, 70 pass block, 90 lead block, 80 strength. If he was a little bit better in that strength, I mean, I'm just saying, but obviously those other ratings suck, so it doesn't really matter. But this interesting fullback. Basically future-proofing, added a couple of players now that can be decent for us. 74 zone for the safety, that's pretty good. But let's take a look at this wide receiver, and then obviously the DN, because he was the only guy we really needed as a starter. 77 release, catching's basically all 80s, speed's crazy. Doesn't have aggressive, but that's okay. How short was he? 6 foot tall. Super fun-looking wide receiver. 84. Choice, I think it is a right end we need, unless I put Oliver there already. I don't remember. 78 power move, 73 block shot. This guy's beastly. I do want to compare him to the rest of the class, though, because this guy's a little bit of a different style of player compared to the other ones. I think it is left end we need. I don't know. We'll figure it out anyways. Dev, star. Man, we're not really hitting those devs too hard, but still landing some pretty good players nonetheless. 78 overall for pick 1 overall from the Jets. Normal dev, but I don't think you hate that. I mean, that's insane throw power. So Felton actually went before Morris. Hidden development trade for Felton. A bit raw, has the power move trait, or bull rush trait, if you will. What else do we have for dev? He has star dev. Okay, so pretty tame. Our guy's definitely better than him by a mile. And then where did Morris go? All the way to 14 from the Niners, who traded up with us, actually, I believe, for that pick. 82 power move. Okay. He's higher than star dev. He was the steal of that position group because he was the last of the 3 taken. Only star. Still a really good pick, though. Definitely worth for them to trade up, without a doubt. All right, the roster for year 3. Not looking half bad. A lot of mid-80s, but this is the season where you'd expect a bit of a jump up, especially at the quarterback spot. Deontay Johnson's got to be 28 by now, right? 28 years old. So wide receiver definitely is a thought of ours. He's very good, though, for 85 overall, but probably built to play number 3 more than number 2. But we do have some really good smaller wide receivers at the 3 and 4 spots, so maybe change the scheme up and get those guys involved more. I mean, you never know. Maybe they can develop in behind. But offensive line, obviously Palmer will be the starter after this season when Suamalo is gone, I imagine. And everything else is great on that offensive line. As far as defense, could use another middle linebacker. We got Christmas. He's all right. Might be till Christmas when he tries to develop. Our defensive line, we lost Hayward, but we definitely did a really good job of turning that around quickly. So even though we lost Hayward, we kind of almost like traded player for player, considering Choice and Oliver combined are kind of close to Hayward when you consider it was Ungunjobi before then. Cornerbacks are young and good. Safeties are pretty solid. Rapp, we'll see what happens to him. He hasn't really progressed, even though he was only 25. It's a good team. Should be making the playoffs, and we just haven't yet. So we're hopefully get the right scheme going and maybe get there. There is just something about Choice that looks great. 10K XP. He is like an ultra athlete. So I don't know what's going on with his team, but we have absolutely missed the playoffs yet again. 7-10. But the problem is the quarterback is playing like garbage no matter what scheme I've changed. I had the Chiefs on for a while, had the Falcons on for a while, and nothing is changing it. Don't get me wrong, touchdown to pick ratio is good, but last time I checked, it was like 4 weeks ago, he had like 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That was like 14 games in. Okay, in fairness, Najee has 23 rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, in fairness, 31 rushing touchdowns to 29 passing. That's probably top 15, I would imagine. Wilkins got to number 2 for yards. Freiermuth was all right. Deontay was pretty bad. Blocking, terrible. Pass rush, TJ Watt is him. Highsmith, really down year. Same with Choice, Oliver. I mean, a pretty bad season there. Hayward, we miss you. Interceptions, 4 guys with 3. Not bad. Boswell, oh my, down year. Might have even cost us a game or two. Goes from making like 30-some kicks in a row, maybe even 40-some kicks in a row, to missing 6, which is, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely a drop-off. Kick return, punt return game, nothing really going for it. But in 12th in yards, which is way better than 31, obviously. 27th on defense. Can we just like put something together here? Like, why are we all of a sudden bad on defense? 13th, yeah, wow. I don't understand what happened, but the defense somehow is worse by a mile without Hayward. I guess he was carrying. I don't know what else to tell you, but award wins, probably not going to see one. TJ Watt, but, I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's already an X factor. So, yeah, a little bit of an L season. I suppose the quarterback played better than I thought he was going to. You know, I kind of came in with the preconception that, 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. I thought best he was going to get was like 25 to like 12, which would obviously be awful, but he actually turned it around a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Heading into season 4, we haven't even made the playoffs yet. I know it's a tough conference and a tough division, but I mean, even the Bengals are 8-9, the Ravens are 7-10. I don't know what to tell you. This is a little odd. The Chiefs win Super Bowl over the Cowboys. Oh, on top of that, I also forgot to do contracts earlier in the season, which is awesome. Let's take a look at the dev ups if we had any. Actually, thinking about it, Najee might have went up in dev. That's a lot of touchdowns. And he did. So, Superstar X Factor, I don't really care too much, but it's still kind of cool. Wish Wilkins would have went up in dev. And Rapp went up in dev. So, he's Superstar Development Trade at 27. Similar to Neil. Keanu was Superstar at this age. But, yeah, Rapp is pretty good. He's just obviously slow as hell. Hopefully we wouldn't have any crazy names assigned, which I imagine we would have. Najee definitely would have been on that list. Signing them a year after, basically, kind of, in a way, and after they've gained overalls is such an L. This team would have been so sad if we didn't make that mistake, but it is what it is. It happens. Pat needs a contract. Najee needs a contract. Deontay would maybe be let go here. Daniels, we've already talked about letting him go. So it's not that bad, but obviously it's going to hurt more to sign them now than it would have if we would have done it, earlier in the season. Najee with a 4-year 32, which is so low for him, but the running back market is pretty trash right now. And then Freiermuth, I'm going to try to get him a deal that, he can't refuse. 4-year 50. Nice, okay. $114 million left. Deontay is not asking for that kind of money. 2-year 22? Yeah, probably, to be honest, but you might be able to get a true number 2 wide receiver in free agency instead of having, more slot-type wide receivers. James Daniels is good, but if we're trying to save money, which we don't really need to, yeah, maybe I should try to get him back. I'll offer him a 3-year 42, I think. That's my max, 3-year 42. Okay. He's a really high overall. He's our best lineman, so I kind of had to keep him, especially with all the money we have, and there's just no free agency players. Everyone else can go. Hines is like our number 3/4. Holcomb's not bad, but his ceiling is reached, and this defense was really bad last season, so why would I want to keep a lot of the core players that I don't need to, that probably were bigger reasons for us sucking than they were for us doing well in any aspect? That was really bad. Considering the talent we've had, that might be the worst defensive performance I've ever seen in a rebuild. Like I said, just based on the overalls, Surtain, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I want a wide receiver, but I don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown's him because he's too good. Hunter Renfrow isn't really exactly what I'm looking for technically. Honestly, at this point, I'd probably be looking just to get Deontay back. I'd probably pay that deal. Deontay, the thing is, Deontay wasn't very good for us, though. Do I trade for a proven wide receiver with the extra draft picks we have? Because that's like the only realistic way we would get a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? So I feel like I might need to trade for a wide receiver. Even though the Steelers' philosophy is obviously far from that. They land steal players all the time. They would never trade for a guy. I mean, maybe not never, but they'd look for other avenues first. I'll say that. Coverage linebacker wouldn't hurt. Shaq Thompson, even if it was like a 1-year deal, even though it looks like it's a 2-year, would be a nice welcomed addition. Devin Lloyd, he's 26. I don't really like that unless he's really good. Blockshed's pretty good. Coverage is not bad either. He's actually not a bad player. I kind of want him, but I'd also like to just get like a proven talent. As I just want to see a damn playoff run at this rate. I don't care about developing for the future if all of our future is just trash. If he wants the 2-year deal worth whatever, I think I'll be willing to give it to him. 2-year 20, he could be a really huge addition for us. Man, that is a tough beat. Don't know if we're going to be able to get that. The Rams are making this a tough one. I don't think I do more than 21. 2-year 21. That's my max deal. Take it or leave it. I want to trade for a... Oh, actually, Edwards is here. I want to trade for a wide receiver and obviously sign them if they need a contract. We ended up trading pick 12 and 77 to the Buccaneers for Chris Godwin, who obviously kind of gives me Pickens vibes a little bit. I like it. He's a little bit short. I thought he was 6'2", to be fair. But very similar style players. True number 1, true number 2 type wide receivers. And we are set at that position. A guy that has obviously been, kind of shopped a little bit by the Buccaneers for a while now, and finally actually gets traded. They have this young wide receiver, Max Hilliard, 6'3", 92 speed, very good catching and all that, and he's star dev, so they don't really need him anyways, and pick 12 is a very, very high pick, obviously. I think they did just recently pay him, kind of, but either way, it was a good trade for both sides, specifically us. Didn't really need wide receiver that badly, but we lost Deontay, and we got ourselves a better upgrade by a mile at that position. Godwin probably will be the number 2, though, because Pickens has developed that chemistry. So wide receiver 1 and 2 are set. So honestly, after that trade, I actually don't know what to go for. There's some pretty good talented players, but I don't think any of them are players we actually need. But I guess best available pick will still kind of play its hand as it usually does. And in this case... I actually don't know who the hell that would be. The wide receiver looked pretty decent. The running back looked pretty decent, but I don't really know if we need a running back that bad. He is very athletic. He has 21 years of age. The A trucking, a ball carrier vision. Is that someone we go for? Maybe, I guess. Backup running back wouldn't hurt. This wide receiver don't really need now, but James Stevens, pretty damn athletic. Very good jumping. Looks solid, but I just don't need him. I simply don't. So I suppose we go to our next pick and potentially just take Stephens. I really don't know who else I would take at this point. We also have both of the safeties still remaining. Carey, I wasn't able to fully scout. McCutcheon, 5'9", 22 years old, looks pretty damn athletic, so I might end up taking him. But I guess we'll take a running back because we don't really have much more to take. Looks pretty good, so I'm not going to feel bad about it. But 92 speed, 92 excel for a trucking back, even if he is normal, looks pretty good. Most running backs are like 74 plus overall, so I guess it is what it is. If I'm going to take the safety, I probably would take the other one over him first. Linebacker, we did get Shaq Thompson on a 2-year 23, which is a little costly, but we could use him in a linebacker for the future. I don't remember what Lang's age was. 21 years old, undersized, athletic. Does have the A to B zone. Pursuit looks great. Could probably just wait for Shields or Benson, though. Let's go with the Rams, 59 and 91 for this pretty high second-round pick. I guess we'll just take best available pick at this point. Probably going to be the safety. The 5'9" one at that, which is a little short, but it is what it is. Linebacker's gone. The other free safety's still there, which makes me feel like, well, who do I take? But yeah, I guess Ben McCutcheon is going to be our guy, or McCutcheon. Thought it was McCutcheon. B-zone, hidden development trait, 92 speed. Very athletic, actually, considering. We expected the speed to be good, but we expected the speed to be good on many of our other players, and it just wasn't. Who the hell did we have here? Because the safety I wanted, but I don't know if there's anyone else that we actually need. Benson's a day 3, so I don't really need to worry about it. This guard actually looks pretty good, but he's still kind of raw. Don't know how good he is. Strength isn't good. Just gonna go to pick 12 and just take whoever. Probably take Benson. And Benson's gonna be my pick. Super elite athlete with, multiple physical elite upgrades or ratings. So hopefully get the best. Normal development trait. Again, I just really struggled with drafting linebackers. So, we've been basically just going, yeah, I've been Nick Cheeks for sure. Basically just been, going for free agents or keeping guys from free agency. I guess a guard wouldn't hurt. Hillman, I think, is slightly better, although I like Haynes, the fact that he's huge. 34 reps. What about Mr. Hillman? They're both very similar, but I'd say Hillman's slightly better. Glenn Hillman, hidden development trait. Nice. We're going to take another linebackers, Tevin Shields, this time hidden development trait, so we at least have the future kind of set at that position. We have 6 young, usable linebackers, and we're not using any of them. It's kind of crazy. Well, not 6 young, but, we have 6 on the roster, 3 that are young. It's kind of crazy. I guess I'll take Haynes as well, see if he's hidden. Okay, so I was smart. Made the right call. If we didn't have these extra picks, I would have made the right call. But once again, we had the extra picks. Felt like, why not? Just take him. And he was not hidden, but maybe he's a better overall. Who knows? Undrafted projected cornerback, 6'3", decently athletic. If he's there in the 6th, I'll take him. I think the 5th's a little too high, especially for a position we don't need. Trade down, and then if the guy's there in the 6th, we'll take him. Pick 12 in the 6th round after a couple of trade downs. He's still there. 93 speed, 6'3". Could be some depth, or he could just be a wasted pick, but doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to look for the strongest kicker if there is a decent one there, because I actually don't know what our kicker situation looks like. Is Boswell still here? Did he retire? I don't know. Did he regress really hard? Hopefully there's a decent kicker here, though. All right, so all the kickers suck, but Lloyd Jackson was by far the best when it comes to kick power. Don't know how good his accuracy is, but we're going to grab him. Yikes. Obviously, it could be a lie, but he was the only guy that was even close to good. Everyone else was marginal, not even solid. I imagine that kicker's going to be useless for us, but like I said, I think he was the best. We have some trade offers. Who's that for? Yeah, Darnell Washington, which we probably should trade, but I'm going to let him sit as the backup. The running back, 77 overall, free safety 75, 72, 74, 72, 68, 67, and then this kicker was, literally release. Yeah, he's literally release talent. He's so bad. I don't even know what the hell that is. But let's take a look at Eric Steffens, who actually looks pretty good, even though he's normal dev. Yeah, he's good. His catching sucks, to be fair, but injury toughness is a little iffy. But really speedy, great trucking. This guy is talented, but we are obviously not going to be using him. McCutcheon, maybe he's superstar. I don't know. Maybe he's X Factor. We'll take a look. What was his zoning, man? I'm probably somewhere in the mid-70s, right? Oops, wrong thing. Star dev, sadly, but both 76, 78 pursuit. Fair enough. Who else did we have? We had a middle linebacker who was the same overall as the other guy, but actually hidden. Tevin Shields. Super raw, kind of, expected. Most linebackers, even if you get the best off-ball linebacker possible, they're almost always super raw. With the dev of star, but is fair enough. And then we did have a hidden development trait lineman in Mr. Hillman, who is very good at pass blocking, not so much at the other stuff. If we had a need, it would probably be kind of right guard. I don't actually know. Maybe left tackle, because Broderick Jones has played pretty badly, and his contract has got to be running up soon. But yeah, not a great draft. I mean, we didn't have our own first-round pick because obviously we traded for Godwin, which is obviously an ultimate offseason win anyways. But yeah, didn't really do a whole lot for ourselves now or future-wise. Oh, I should have looked at the wide receiver who's 6'4". Oh, he looks like a pretty good player. He went to the Raiders, 76 overall. Great release, great short, great catching in general, specifically spec, solid jumping. And his dev is only star, thankfully, but he's still a really good player. But like I said, we traded for Godwin, and we're set. All right, Season 4, we obviously improved the offense quite a bit with a new 93 overall X-Factor wide receiver. He will be the number 2, like we talked about with the chemistry thing. We got a couple upgrade points on offense in general. Wish you could have done a little bit more for the offensive lineman, but, Hillman, I suppose, is another hidden development trait lineman that'll be learning in as a backup, and Martinez is another guy like that. Middle linebacker number 2, Thompson, is a decent right now piece, but hopefully Shields can develop as a backup because Thompson's not that great anymore, and he's obviously going to regress hard. The only way we could have got him, though, is with that 2-year 23, so pretty much was forced to give him the extra year, otherwise you weren't just not going to get him. We do have a really solid backup safety, though, and it would have been nice to see a mentor rookie for the running back Steffens, but you win some, you lose a lot if you're us. Especially in that win-loss category. We literally can't even make the damn playoffs. $104 million. TJ Watt needs another contract. Pickens, oh, I'm not liking that. Some pretty expensive contracts here. Some pretty expensive names in general. Obviously, TJ Watt is a guy we want to keep long-term. I'd probably just give him the 4-year deal now. 4-year 98 because I am super stingy. Joey Porter Jr. is a 5-year deal as well. 5-year 45 I think is pretty fine because he's pretty low overall still. Pickens, he's been pretty damn solid. Can we do this? A 6-year 126? You could, but you could also just not do that. Benton, pretty fair contract, 4-year 40. Noyce. Who else did we have in here? Washington will be a free agent because he's a backup. I can't afford him. Who the hell is this guy? He's a good pick. It's just we have no use for him because Freiermuth's the guy. Oh, George Choice is a superstar, which is pretty nice. He's probably our best pass rusher on the interior. If we win, we take the division and potentially a bye week. We win and we get it. It was a hell of a season. 2 weeks ago, it was I think 11-4 3-way tie. And we ended up finishing out really strong. There was a couple of losses, and I was like, uh-oh, because we were I think 7-1, and then we started losing games. Godwin has, unless it was just really bad RNG early on, Godwin has absolutely changed this team for the better. You can see he's the number 2. Wow. I had Pickens as my number 1 guy, but I guess not. What a season. 17.1 yards per catch, 28 touchdowns. Bates killed it. If this isn't our year, I don't know what year it is. Time to know what year it is. Just woke up. Offensive line was okay. TJ Watt does what TJ Watt does. Oliver was pretty good considering he's not even really a pass rusher. Choice, not great considering how good he should be. And Highsmith was awful. Interceptions, pretty basic stuff. At least Shaq Thompson had 138 tackles. Kicking was pretty good again, finally. Back to the season that wasn't last year. The punting was great. Kick return, punt return game, nothing really to show for. MVP? Number 3 for MVP. I was about to say Chris Godwin had to put up some numbers there. And best wide receiver on top of it, TJ Watt. Didn't even need to. He's already an X Factor, but absolutely worth the trade. And just like that, we are already in the divisional round going up against who? Is it the division rival again? It is not. It is the Colts. This is where you would actually probably want the playoff blizzard because the Colts aren't really built for it in comparison. So we're going to click it, see if that gives it an advantage or if we're just going to be out right away anyways. At least we made the playoffs. Got the bye week, which was nice. And here is the blizzard. That water is looking pretty unfrozen. I know the water doesn't have to be frozen, but there's a pretty good chance if it's a blizzard that it'd be ice, right? I would imagine. But let's see. Can the Colts, who are a good running team, handle the elements? 10-0, pretty good start. They get a field goal. Offense isn't really doing super well, but it is the elements in general. You probably wouldn't score that much. But, yeah, here it is, a tied-up game. Up by 7, up by 14. Colts have been pretty good in sim lately in these rebuilds, and they will not win this one as we win the game 34-17, and it seemed like we closed the game out in the red zone. We are headed to the championship round. Obviously, the Colts did have to win a game to get there. Bates with a crazy good game. He's having himself a season. Godwin, talking about having a season. Literally, like, probably the greatest receiving season of all time, I would imagine. 28 touchdowns is quite a bit of touchdowns, especially when you consider the yards and the yards per carry. Or catch, not carry. All right, what do we get for this Blizzard? I think it's something to do with the staff, if I'm not mistaken. It's really not worth it. Other than, like, having the fun of the elements and all that, it's really never worth it. Oh, it goes for the team as well, XP. I guess 2,500 it's nice. It's something. Who the hell is this going to be? The Chiefs have been in it a lot. Is it them? It is the Bengals. Take a look at this. Chiefs not in. Also, I just noticed Ritter. The Chiefs not in it are kind of crazy. Oh, the Chiefs weren't even in the playoffs, were they? Wow. Okay, no playoff Chiefs is interesting. Obviously beat the Colts, and the Bengals beat the Raiders. Eagles versus Packers, Bengals versus Steelers. Could it be a Packers-Steelers Super Bowl rematch? I would love it because I just want to be in the damn Super Bowl, basically. We have 6 overalls on them, but it's a division rival. That means nothing. To be fair, it is also my luck, which means even more, as in it's going to be terrible for us. 10-7, 10 all, 17-10. Ooh, that's not good. Offense is looking really bad in these 2 playoff games, let me tell you. 17-20, 24-20. Come on, 31-20. Talk crap, and it works out. Up by 10. And we did enough. We're headed to the Super Bowl. Let's go. All right. We're in it, and Bates has been pretty good. This guy's putting on a run. Obviously, if he would have played in the wildcard round and played like, he has so far, look at Pickens. He would actually probably be on the list for one of the greatest playoff performers ever. Just based on these 2 games, these averages, it's got to be way up there, dude. 6 touchdowns with like 800-plus yards in 2 games is pretty impressive, especially when you consider that it is the championship round. So less games to get the yards and all that stacked up, but also tougher games, if you will, because the pressure's higher than ever. And even though we just looked at it, I do want to go back and take a look at who won and how they got here. It is the Packers. What a rematch. Got a rematch. I just want to see it because I didn't pay attention to the NFC side too much. So the Packers were, it's number 1 seed versus number 1 seed. Packers beating Atlanta and then beating up. Wow, they put up some numbers. Who do they have? What is that, 100 points in 2 games? It's kind of absurd. Let's take a look at the roster, see what dev ups we had. So QB went up in dev, which is pretty cool, kind of expected. And then defensively, I don't think we went up in dev, but that's fine. It is what it is. We have a really good roster. This roster is super stacked. Could it be our year? Maybe. Will it be? I freaking hope so, but this Packers team is very good, too. I kind of want to take a look real quick, just see who their quarterback is. It can't be Love still, right? They must have went rookie. Oh, wow. Hogan. The rookie class battle. Here it is. No short accuracy, but super strength. Everything's good except for throwing the run. Aaron Jones is still here. No, it's not Jamal. It's Javonte Williams is here. Christian Watson looks great. Renfro's decent. Burks. Fair enough. Let's go. May the better team win. Let's get that revenge. All right, here it is for all the marbles. Can the team get revenge, or will Green Bay win another Super Bowl over them? 3-3. What a super electrifying game so far. Huge touchdown before half, though. Nice start to the second half. Could it be over? It is not. One more score from us. We leave the door open, and that should be it, as this defense has locked down the Packers, who have put up amazing amount of points in their playoff games before this, and secures a Super Bowl victory. I, once again, apologize for not kind of following through with Kenny Pickett, but not only from a playing and user developing standpoint, but just from a build standpoint, EA doesn't seem to like him either. That age, the dev, the overall. I even cheated and put his +2 throw power back, and he still wasn't great. It's just, plenty of time in real life, obviously, but in-game, there's just certain stipulations that just don't work out. Old, bad throw power just doesn't work, and bad dev, obviously. This quarterback hit the ground running. Well, actually, that's not true. That's actually completely false. Did not hit the ground running, but hit the ground better than Kenny Pickett did, obviously, and because of his higher overall and dev and, younger self early on, he was able to get those overalls, those ratings up, and ultimately win a Super Bowl here before his rookie deal's even up. 2 touchdowns, 281 yards. Definitely worse than his other 2 performances, but still really good. Najee Harris was great here. Receivers, the Packers beat us on our receivers. Godwin was kind of, limited for the first time in a while. 95 yards, still 95 yards. Lucas Van Ness with 2 sacks, 2 for Highsmith, finally waking up. Greg Rousseau, it's a great addition. Ed Oliver with a sack. And then Miles Jack getting a pick. Wow, 3 missed field goals out of 6. Not the best work from these kickers, let me tell you. And, yeah, not really much in the special teams game at all. Just kind of a boring crap special teams game, which I don't think people really care too much about anyways. But we have won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was a team that definitely starts out pretty good outside of, quarterback situation. So it's not the hardest team to rebuild in the world. And obviously we got to that point of not really needing anything other than just making a trade for a proven guy and just taking guys for the future earlier than we normally would. So that's that. But Broderick Jones, the guy that's kind of the highlight of their draft class, if you will, because, well, he's technically their biggest need, was really bad. He was so bad. I don't know if there was a single season he had under it. Yeah, double digits allowed in sacks every single season. It is Madden, though, so we're not going to put any stock into it, obviously. What else do we have? Manning, whatever. Let's take a look at Freiermuth, though. He's a 92 overall. He started off really good. We changed the schemes up a little bit, and yeah, he definitely got utilized a lot less, but he's still really good. Just not the most athletic dude in the world. What else do we have? Godwin. I guess I'll take a look at him. I mean, it really doesn't matter. We didn't develop him. He's just a great trade piece that we made here and there, and it obviously was the big difference maker. Pickens obviously was pretty good throughout this thing. Release never really got up there, but speed is actually pretty good for him. I know he just recently got a speed upgrade because I used it. 3 to release, 1 to speed. Deep threat kind of busted. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Najee Harris. Take a look at Mr. Najee Harris. Not max and power back. 85 juke move, 94 truck, 93 stiff arm. Speed and exceller, pretty tame. And then, of course, the quarterback, Mr. Bates, Sam Bates. Superstar X Factor. Medium accuracy could use a little bit of work, but everything else is literally perfect. He's a very good quarterback, and he is super young and obviously an X Factor. Defensively, TJ Watt, obviously he already starts off as basically maxed anyways, but 98 finesse, 89 block shed, athleticism. You'd like a little bit more speed if you can get it, but definitely doesn't, he doesn't need it. Miles Jack, though, give him some credit for developing. He's still pretty raw. Well, not raw, but he's not the greatest in block shed zone, but he definitely gets away with that, and all the other ratings are really good. And, he turned out to be a really good overall and totally worth the contract. We almost didn't give it to him. Highsmith, who has been kind of on the decline ever since, the second season. Solid ratings with that finesse. Speed is pretty low, so is Excel, but just didn't really play well. That's all I can say. Didn't really play well. Did not really mean to go over to the corner first, but we'll do it anyways. The 6'4" corner, athletic, great man, terrible zone. What about Joey Porter Jr., who obviously became the number 1 cornerback for us, 87 overall. Similar, just that zone coverage super lacking. What else do we have? Benton, I suppose. Let's first go to Rapp, though. Taylor Rapp, what's that zone? 86 zone. We could live with it, but that speed, man. It's like Keanu Neal, but like I said, younger. And then obviously, was the free safety superstar? I thought we looked at he was star. Unless he got like a player of the week at some point. Obviously, he was the backup at multiple positions. I think he was at both safety spots. Might have been at corner and linebacker. I mean, I don't think he would have played at those roles, but still pretty impressive. Ben McCutcheon. The hell did he go up in dev for? I don't know. But he went up in dev, which is cool. Obviously, that'd be like kind of a future position. Maybe it's strong safety. Ed Oliver, I guess we'll take a look at just kind of for future reference. If would he be worth it? 90 block shed, 81 power move. Once again, didn't become a power move guy or a pass rusher, but still a good player. Let's take a look at Benton. That's block shed, only 85. So yeah, he really did not develop in this one, but I suppose he's still kind of young. And he's on contract. And then Choice, who was by far our best interior pass rusher by rating, didn't really show that, though. it was a weird team. It was a team that technically underperformed, especially in the sack department, but is a team that became a very high overall very quickly. Still have a lot of money. Well, maybe not a lot of money, but decent money, and we have a lot of our guys on long-term contracts. So, hey, it is what it is. We won a Super Bowl. That's all you could ask for. If you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support on the channel. And maybe check out the second channel, PK Plays, where we do non-Madden playthroughs of games. And right now we've been doing Star Wars Jedi Survivor, even though the frame rate has fought me harder than the damn game difficulty itself at times. But it's been a pretty fun game still when it's working. And yeah, I invite you to maybe subscribe over there or check out some videos. Had one yesterday. Probably will have another one tomorrow. And then speaking of the main channel here, probably no video tomorrow, but a couple of videos on the weekend. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys have any suggestions for rebuild ideas, franchise ideas, you've been watching the relocation franchise for minors, and you suggest a player or change up the roster, whatever. Let me know in the comment section below. What team do you want to see next for a rebuild? I've had ideas like the Raiders or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya.